An earthquake triggers an avalanche and a humanitarian crisis. Good evening, I'm Cindy Hsu. The natural disaster leveled landmarks and sent people running into the streets. Tonight, Nepal is still feeling the aftershocks as the death toll continues to rise. The earthquake struck before noon local time in the capital city of Kathmandu. The magnitude 7.8 quake killed more than 1,300 people. Now the U.S. is sending response teams and $1 million in aid to help with the rescue and recovery. CBS 2's Dave Carlin has more on this developing story and how it's impacting people in our area. Dave?
Panic and mayhem in the streets as a frantic search for survivors brought these volunteers to the historic Darahara Tower. Harrowing scenes of the aftermath show us that many of the injured are young children. This is the worst quake to hit Nepal in more than 80 years, toppling temples that stood for centuries, bringing down buildings and tearing open roads. It triggered an avalanche on Mount Everest that swept into a base camp. Delegations from all over the world are heading to the devastated region. The United States is sending a disaster response team and $1 million in aid. Also, the Director General of Israel's Foreign Ministry made this announcement.
We are ready to send a delegation with the Defense Ministry to Nepal in order to provide humanitarian aid.
He promised his forces will help reunite people disconnected from their families. Among those desperate for information about loved ones in Nepal are many residents of New York's Nepalese community here in Jackson Heights, Queens. Which of your family members are there in Nepal?
My dad, my mom, my sister, almost everyone is there. In my house, it was fine. Everybody was safe. But the thing is, the house got collapsed. So everybody's in shelter now. All these pictures, I see that. I still am having goosebumps.
You're looking at a Nepalese restaurant on Roosevelt Avenue where people know that with so many people still buried in the rubble, the death toll will climb and the need will grow even greater. Live in Jackson Heights, Queens, Dave Carlin, CBS 2 News.
Dave, thank you. Dan Friedenberg, a Google executive, is reportedly one of the people killed during the avalanche on Mount Everest. On his Twitter and Instagram accounts, the person identifying herself as his sister says Dan died after suffering a major head injury. At least 10 people were reportedly killed in the avalanche.